Welcome, everyone. We're here with Dr. Kyle, a physician executive, startup founder, medical director, and managing partner at 1836 Ventures. Within healthcare, his career spans clinical leadership, biopharma, the military sectors, insurance, and innovation. He has published 70 plus papers, holds multiple master's degrees, and advises emerging tech startups in healthcare. Dr. Kyle, thank you for being in this interview.
Absolutely. Thank you for hosting and having me.
So here goes. I have 7 questions for you, and I'll try and get them through quickly. You're simultaneously a physician, a startup founder, a VC investor. Please tell us more about the role you play actively in age, particularly the focus area at 1836. And personally, I'm very curious about if you have a magic formula for managing time. Seems like a lot that you're doing simultaneously.
Thank you. Yeah, the magic formula is you just have to slow down time so you get 28 hours a day, and then everything works out very nicely. All kidding aside, so 1836 is a healthcare venture firm that where I manage and I'm the managing partner there. We focus on healthcare technologies that will improve the standard, the status quo of healthcare. Everyone knows that we have a lot to improve on. So areas such as either patient compliance, reduced admission rates, reduced costs, all those areas that really improve the outcome of healthcare compared to the status quo. And in those companies, we need to be able to, one, have that active change, but two, also make money for our investors. So we're looking for at least a 10x or 10 times increase potential for investors.
Cool. And how do you balance time across all of this? Multiple roles?
Sure. Great question. So I have a very good support staff, very good and flexible family life. And yeah, I went to U.S. Military Academy, and I would say my number one lesson from going to West Point was time management. So I've become very good at being able to manage multiple balls in the air, multiple irons in the fire. And I do have a very good support staff. So I don't micromanage. I let my support staff help me out. I train leaders to be leaders, not followers, and I think that's basically my magic formula.
That's amazing. It's good to know that so much is doable and parallel. And that resounds a lot with me. So question number two. You recently reshared a post about the new currency in healthcare being efficiency and patient experience. Can you talk to us about that and why it resonates with you?
Yeah, efficiency again. Efficiency kind of goes back to what we just mentioned, being able to provide the highest quality of care in the shortest amount of time. So that is something we've always strived for on the tech side as well as on the clinical management side. And what was the second part? Remind me the second part of the question.
I just wanted you to talk to us about that, how that resonates with you. So you shared an article on LinkedIn that the new currency in healthcare is efficiency and patient experience.
Gotcha. And then so yeah, the patients have so many options these days. I personally, so through my patient care is mostly folks who have had it with the system and they're willing and able, luckily able to pay cash pay for that high quality. So my patients, for example, are able to enjoy that concierge feel and white glove treatment and offering the uh, highest care and experience, but at the same time, not wasting their time. They're not sitting in a waiting room. They're not having to fill out multiple forms with the exact same information. So really employing technology as well as just managing our time better so that patients have a better outcome as well as a better experience and they keep coming back.
That hits a chord with me, and I'm going off the questions I have now, but I feel like if something could be done to perhaps make systems more efficient for doctors and the staff too, so that they can get more sleep. Um, so it's interesting that the efficiency thread runs across all of them, not just for patients, but also for doctors. And it could be a better world for everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. As like electronic medical records, EMRs have taken over, you'll see a lot of both patients as well as doctors complaining that they've gone from looking at the patient to looking at their screen and becoming a click master, just clicking buttons.
And multiple
And
screens while it's at it, right? It's like
exactly. So a lot of my contemporaries feel that we're losing that patient touch because of these forced requirements upon us, and they have reasons for some of these requirements, but at the same time, we've got to balance that out for sure.
cool. And so a natural follow-up here, given your lens, what's the one most important part of the patient's journey that remains broken? And I'm also
That,
curious about the doctor's journey as they continue providing care.
oof, the doctor's one I can come up with first.
Okay.
I think that the broken part of the doctor's journey is the continued request for more and more and more while providing less and less and less, i.e., we're requiring our doctors to do additional tasks. And there's just that assumption that doctors are going to do that. For example, I was on vacation with my kids going to Colorado, and there was a medical issue. There's just the assumption you're going to get up and work for free, which is fine. But at the same time, there's zero thanks. I got zero thanks, zero um, um, benefit really out of this. While at the same time, if something happens to that patient, potential some sort of liability. So there's this just taking from our physicians. How many times I can tell you countless number of times someone comes in for maybe a skin issue, and while they're leaving, by the way, doc, I have this chest pain. Right? Oh shoot! You should have started off with the chest pain, right? But there's this expectation that with this 15-minute time slot, that you're going to be able to do all these things, and there's just a lot of ask. Um, so that's at some point you just get burned out. So I would say the limit on the doctor is the burnout. You're requesting more with less time, less pay, or the same pay and more requirements, and just get burned out at some point. So that's my thing.
That is so interesting. Like I was thinking more about the patient's journey, but yes, it sounds like a very thankless and you're supposed to do this kind of like you're the doctor, fix me. Uh, I, interesting. It's good to get that lens.
It's
Um,
yeah, and again, I love taking care of patients. I love improving health. It would be nice to be thanked for it every now and then, and not just assume that you're going to take on that role.
everyone needs that, Kyle. It's a very human thing, right? And it helps you then just be a
And from
better
the
doctor to the next. Sorry, go
absolutely,
ahead.
absolutely, and from the patient side, there's so many things. I wouldn't say there's one thing that's broken.
Okay.
From the patient, I would still say we're working on this, but we still haven't fixed it. I would say that the patient continues to be, or continues not to be, the owner of his or her uh, medical records. I like we're in this day and age of AI and you know state of the art cancer treatments. You know, new hearts and 3D printed implants, but the patient is still not in charge of patients aren't in charge of their medical records yet. Like what is going on? We need to be able to that's one of the big issues is just our fractured and disjointed medical system that doesn't necessarily speak to each other. So one, I just think the patients should be in charge of their own medical record. It's their life, their medical history. And that by doing so, that would also help ensure that medical providers, be it overseas, be it just in a new medical system, has full access to that patient's care and patient's history that they can share as needed.
That's interesting. And so, continuing with this, there continues to be hype around AI in healthcare. Of course, we were going to go to talk about AI too. Where do you see AI making a real measurable impact in the next 3 years? And did you just answer that question by saying, hey, I want people to own their own medical records? Is
I think AI plays a big role in that, as well as technology such as blockchain.
Okay.
Um, and so I think that that would be one of the responses. I also think that AI is really good at recognizing patterns. So I see AI being a big, having a big change in areas like reading imaging. So like chest X-rays, spinal MRIs, EKGs, head imaging, because it can pick up these minute little areas of abnormality that maybe a specialist miss. So I think in imaging specifically, so be it EEG, EKG, MRIs, X-rays, CTs, those would be the first area. So I guess radiology or cardiology would be the first go as far as biggest impact in the short run.
That's very interesting. You also mentioned blockchain. Was that with reference to EMRs or something else? Where do you see blockchain making an impact?
I see blockchain making an impact. For example, a company called Vanadium making a big impact in that blockchain can be used to transfer data in a way that is HIPAA compliant, while also having a record of that data. So we need to have the secure transfer on one end. We also need the record because, let's say, in a litigation, if you didn't document it, it didn't happen. They say that all the time in training. If it didn't document it, it didn't happen. So blockchain is one way of ensuring that the documentation of that transfer or whatever event is actually occurring, documented, and there's proof that it happened.
And will that be one more task for you doctors to do? Or do you imagine an I don't know, partner who is automatically throwing stuff on the blockchain? That's
I think the blockchain in itself would be the mode of transfer. I don't think it would be an additional thing that a physician would have to do. It would just be, for example, if I'm sending a new patient comes to me, they get an imaging, I send them their imaging results slash my recommendation, and all that occurs through a blockchain event that
oh,
is
nice.
documented. So, say something unfortunately happens to that patient, we can say, oh, look, yeah, we did provide them with their outcomes and their recommendation. They either didn't act upon it or something, accidents happen or just unexpected events happened. And in this case, say, oh, it's not the physician's fault, or maybe we send that information to the patient. They go back home because they were skiing in Colorado and got a knee injury, and now they can take that imaging that was transmitted via blockchain, and then they themselves transmit it via blockchain to their PCM, and
That makes a
say,
lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense. You could even have an AI sitting on top of that and sort of
mhm.
like making a list of things for the doctor to, I don't know, cross check because, hey,
Yes,
this may be missed or something like that, right? If it's all, if you're successfully able to build that one place of truth, then I guess more value with AI could be added there. That's super interesting.
exactly. And the AI could be on top of that saying, hey, doc, these you got these labs, imaging, whatever you want to say. If you need this follow up and it didn't occur, or there's no documentation that it occurred, and use that as a reminder.
Yeah, yeah. And then you would say, I have excellent staff in AI that support me balancing all of these things, I guess. Um, so at 1836 Ventures, when you evaluate early stage health tech startups, what are the top three non-negotiables that you look for before writing a check?
I look for so team. I kind of use a three T's would be my high level. So team,
Okay.
tech, traction. So the team, non-negotiable. You have to have a team that you can trust in. Ideally, a previously exited founder. If they're not a previously exited founder, be surrounded by a support staff who has that pedigree. So mentors and whatever it may be, but they have people guiding them. So the team, the tech itself needs to be an advance upon status quo. It needs to be defensible as well. So it needs to not be easily copyable legally. So have some sort of patent, have some sort of secret sauce that would be difficult to copy. And then the traction, that can be in a few ways. Are you getting grants from the government? Are you publishing papers? Where is your current raise? Have you already raised money on this? Have you had previous rounds? Do you have clients? So all those areas, team, tech, and traction would be non-negotiable.
Okay. Last two questions remaining. So, with your business experience across 120 plus countries, if you could fix one systemic issue in healthcare that could unlock the most progress, what would it be?
Ooh,
I wonder if it's the same as, US or the global lens changes things.
that is interesting. If I had to pick, I think if I had to pick one, I think I'd still go back to give. It's not just having the patient take on more responsibility and ownership of their
So
health.
EMRs and blockchain and everything being there is still it.
So if we could get so if the patient's more involved, more responsible, and taking ownership of his or her health, I think that is a huge difference. Another area is just a relationship with your physician. So when I was fortunate enough to spend some time learning the Cuban system. So I get politically Cubans, Americans not always on the same page, but health wise, they spend about 2 to 3% of what we spend and have better outcomes pretty much across the board. And I would say the biggest reason for that is one, they focus on primary and preventive care. Two, they actually have a relationship with their providers, which tends not to be the case here. So we see a lot of people just going straight to specialists rather than through their primary care, which could take care of probably 80% of those needs and also augmenting that relationship. But that's just not how our system at this time appears to be built or working or functioning. I think that's not to our benefit.
That's so interesting. I heard this once before from a therapist, that the relationships with doctors, with therapists, as you moved east, are different than as you move west. And you've just said the same thing. That's very interesting. So last question. What's the one fun fact that you can share about you that isn't on LinkedIn?
I love trivia. So big trivia buff, and I guess that would be my fun fact. And if I had to break it down even more, I really enjoy international like country flags and understanding differences about that and having random knowledge about flags. Like what are the two flags national flags that have purple in it? Just random things like that.
Nice, nice. So you love that show. What's it called? Jeopardy or?
I do like Jeopardy. Yeah, Jeopardy, exactly.
Okay, okay. Thank you so much, Dr. Kyle. It's been great interviewing you. Um,
Likewise, thank you so much for having me on. I look forward to you know, future appearances.
Likewise, I look forward to meeting you at TechCon. Thank you.